Hello, my name is Nell, and I have things to say. I take a lot of tablets. I take a lot of pills. And I've been taking a lot of pills for a lot of years. I probably started around 10 years ago when I started having to take a lot of pain medication and then psych medication and then built up to a lot of supplements. And it's a bit of a confronting thing to think about, and I really battle with it. I really wrestle with it and with how I feel about it. There was a time when I was taking, I think it was up to 100 pills at one point. And then because that was just too much to manage, we were able to cut some of those down by putting some of them into compounded supplements where instead of taking like one pill for vitamin B, one pill for zinc, one pill for folate, they were all just like put into supplement capsules, and that cut things down. And some pills I couldn't afford, so I cut those down. But at the moment, I take 71 pills a day, which is a lot. To the point where sometimes I take pills, I'll just like take 16 pills in one sitting and then just kind of shimmy to see if I rattle. And sometimes I think I do. But I often struggle with the idea of taking this many pills and the cost of the pills. And I think, what is it even doing? I take all this medication and on any given day, I don't feel energized. I don't feel revitalized. I don't feel strong. Every day I am tired and I am in pain. And my body is so sluggish and slow. And I think, what's the point? What's the point of putting all this crap in me? So recently I did some maths because I knew that taking this medication cost a lot. I thought, I wonder how much it costs. Partly out of curiosity, just to torture myself, and partly so that if my doctor recommends me taking any more pills, I can show him my accounting and say, okay, you want to, let's figure out how much this is going to cost me a week. So I did some maths. With my 71 pills, they cost me $202 a week. I think it's about $28 a day. I'm literally putting $28 a day down my gullet to feel okay. To not feel good, to not feel great, just to feel okay or moderately okay or terrible. And the thing is, my pension, with my pension, I can't afford pills and food at the same time. So the only way that I can buy my pills is because I do have some generous people who give me monetary gifts. And there are people who've been doing that for a long time because this is an ongoing need. But it's so confronting that so much money goes into pills for me to not even feel that great. So sometimes I find myself wondering, what's the point? Like, are they even worth it? Are they even worth it? And then I had to do an accidental experiment in the lead up to my IUD procedure. Because I was having full anesthetic, I had to go off of all of my supplements because there's not a lot of scientific evidence for how they interact with anesthetic. So I had to go off them, which is about 50 pills. 50 pills a day are my supplements. The rest are like prescribed drugs. So I had to go off 50 pills every day for a week before my procedure. And then my procedure got delayed, so then I had to do it all again for another week. And I felt like crap. The life had been sucked out of me. I had nothing left, no juice left, nothing in the tank. I was just woozy and exhausted and broken. And I thought, okay, maybe this crap is worth taking. But it was confronting in that I can't function without these things. It's kind of like what I was talking about with equipment. It's not that pills make my life easier or better, they just make it possible, because without them I don't function. And that's really confronting. I don't take a vitamin to make me feel better. I take a vitamin because my body doesn't absorb that vitamin, and without that vitamin, I just don't function. If I cut back on my liver supplements, then my blood test will show my liver function worsening. Direct correlation. If I don't take my iron supplements, then my iron is low in my blood tests. If I don't take my phosphate tablets, then my phosphate is low. And even in all my blood tests, I get my blood tested every 2 to 3 months. I was getting it tested every month for a while, and then I stabilized enough to have it done less. But even on my blood tests, with all of the stuff I take, a lot of my levels are low but normal for me. When my doctor says that if any other patient, if a healthy patient came back with my levels, he would be very concerned. But for me, low but normal. That low and just functioning are my default settings. And these pills that I fill myself with just keep me at that level. They don't help me function normally. They don't put anything into the normal levels. They just keep me going. I don't want to be high maintenance. I don't want to be high maintenance. I don't want to be like an expensive person to keep alive, but I am. I'm like a car that costs a whole lot to run and it's still a bit of a lemon. That I don't want to cost this much. I'm very expensive. I'm very expensive to keep alive. And I don't like that. I'd like to be carefree, and I'd like to be able to just jump in a car and go out and not think, wait, do I have my lunchtime medications? Do I have extra painkillers in my bag? My life is defined by tablets. My routine is based on when I take my meds. My meds and my meals. It's just the daily routine of from one lot of pills to another. Sometimes it's about counting down the hours until I get my next pain meds. It messes with your brain being so reliant. And it's not my choice. I don't want to be this. Yeah, it's tough. It's confronting, and it's something that I really struggle with. And I think a lot of people who take a lot of medication struggle with it as well. This feeling that we can't operate on our own. We can't function on our own. And we are reliant on something. And that something costs a lot. And it isn't just a financial cost. It's that a lot of my medications are ruining my stomach. I have a lot of stomach pain, and my doctor checks me, and we check for lumps or growths or anything like that. And there's nothing. And it's basically because I've taken so many medications over the years that my stomach lining is shredded. So I take pills to help with that. I take a lot of pills that cause mouth ulcers and dry mouth. So I take a pill to treat the mouth ulcers. And that pill has side effects that are then treated by another pill. It never stops. It never stops. Half of the things that I struggle with are because of the medications I'm on, the side effects. I already have depression, and a lot of my pain meds cause depression and suicidal thoughts. So I have to up my psych meds to treat the issue that has been exacerbated by my other meds. It does your head in. There's no uplifting moral to the story this time. It's just hard. It's a hard slog, and I feel for anyone who is reliant on medication, because we don't want to be. And for people who think that, you should just throw your medication out and just live a little. Don't take all those pills, just get out into the sunshine. Doesn't work like that. I can't stop these things because I don't function. I don't function by photosynthesis. I can't get all my nutrients from the sun. Sometimes my body doesn't process them, and so I have to take pills. And that's just the truth. And it sucks. It really sucks. And if you're going through that, I feel for you. It sucks. We're allowed to say it sucks. That's all for this one. I'm off to go take some pills with my lunch. I think it's about, how many is it? I think it's about 12 or 14 at lunchtime. Delicious. First course. All right, that's all. Bless.